So Jayco just made some major changes to these that brought the price tag down on them by thousands. Welcome everybody, Josh the RV Nerd Ambitious RV down here at Jayco today, getting you a scoop of what's new on North Point. And there have been some major realignments within North Point. North Point and Pinnacle, they were just so amazingly loaded, but there was a massive gap between Eagle and North Point. And then North Point was right on top of Eagle, and Jayco said, okay, what if we reset this to actually make North Point a true in-between stepping stone between Eagle and Pinnacle, and that's what this is. It's basically like a super Eagle now, if that makes sense. And as we go through, that's what I'm going to kind of show you. As you step up from Eagle, what are you going to get? The first thing is you're moving up to a full profile. It doesn't tend to taper down in the back like an Eagle does. It's also wide body, which an Eagle is not, with a full drop frame front storage compartment and 6-point hydraulic auto leveling instead of often 4-point. I think a couple Eagles have a 6-point electric, but always 6-point hydraulic on these guys right here. You're still getting the same build, the same layouts, and I have to look really close to see where this isn't the same as it was last year. I've only spotted a couple little things, but overall, I am not upset with this. And the fact that it is now more price affordable than it previously was should be music to a lot of folks' ears. I personally love this style of rear kitchen floor plan. When you're going to be somewhere and set up for a while, I think it has one of the most home style feeling arrangements. And it's not a bath and a half model like a lot of them are, but you can find that up in the Pinnacle. That's called a 38 FBRK. This is the one designed to kind of, again, go in between a little bit. We still have that big wraparound couch. The Jayco version does have a sleeper sofa, so it's a little more guest friendly, you know. You still have that desk space, which I would definitely find use for, but I could also see someone who isn't going to sit there and play on a computer while they're in their RV, like putting, you know, their pet bed or something like that there. Again, if you're just going to spend a long time at a place, this floor plan is amazing, and it's just more affordable now than it used to be, and I think a little bit lighter weight too. Not a ton, but a bit. And folks, I might need to ask just a little bit of your understanding here. It's a beautiful day, but it is warm. I've been wearing my sunblock because I don't feel like getting skin cancer. I've watched it kill a number of people. I would rather not deal with that. Recommendation for you, wear your sunscreen too. But I'm running out of water, and I'm getting tired, and I'm getting dehydrated, so this will probably be my last one for the day. So if I kind of sound like my brains don't work for a minute, that's probably what's going on. I have always been a stupid sucker, but also a stupid sucker for those little beams they put along the ceiling lines of stuff just to help create that, that division and that separation. This is one of those models where you walk in and it feels twice as big as the average RV. And yeah, it's a wide body rig, but it's just something about this one lays out. You walk in and you've got these opposing slides just right in your face, and it is just enormous feeling in here. And this over here on the left side of the screen, which is the camp side of the RV, is a big old, I call it mega slide, because you got a fridge, a pantry, a big desk, and then your kind of slide, glide, roll open table situation station, whatever you want to call that over there, which does, by the way, the RV has the 2 chairs that are at the table right now. It has 2 additional chairs included, one of which I have deployed over there. Those fold away. I've left one in a front closet to kind of give you a storage idea, and then I put the other one over here at the sort of desk space, by the way. Oh, and inevitably, there's going to be someone that says, look, there's already, the floor is peeling up over in that corner. That is a carpetless flap on the end of a slide out. A floor flush slide is not technically floor flush. So due to physics, there's always going to be a little wonkiness right there until you start getting up into like diesel pusher dollars effectively. So you saw how that table can kind of pull open and create an actual 4-person dining area. All the windows over here on the campsite, they all have blackout shades. The entry door also does have a pull-down privacy shade integrated into that. This remains a top-down instead of a bottom-up shade. Different window or door from what you traditionally see. Most of them do pull from the bottom up. Over here on your little kind of desk space, you see you have the little pop-up power tower there. That can service any of the seating over here in that slide, but you also have some household outlets in the corner, and you have the ability to kind of really use this as a bit of a desk space. Now, this little carpeting square, it's not part of the floor. It's totally free floating. If you want to take this out and go straight carpetless, you can. I think it's serving a couple purposes. I think its main purpose, and I'll show you this later, is these two sections of that sofa right there that we're looking at, they go under the desk for transit. That's what those little straps are hanging down right there. But I also think if you wanted to get something more like an office roller chair, that carpet will help protect your flooring. So it sort of depends on what you're wanting to do. Or this could just, man, this could be, if you're like, I don't need office space. What are you talking about? Coffee bar or appliances or just anything in general. The kitchen in this RV was actually described by the Master of Ceremonies Hammer, that is MC Hammer, way back before this RV even existed. A lot of people didn't realize what he was actually talking about, and that is that this kitchen is too legit to quit. It is awesome. First of all, I love the wide open space. The extra tall, like, I don't know, 6.5 or 7 foot, however tall this slide is on the inside, means you can actually like also use the slide as walkable floor space, which is another way this kind of just has a big wide open feel. Two people can easily come and go and not trip over one another constantly. The solid surface countertop prep space in this is fantastic. There is plenty of it, that is for certain. I'm sure it's for supplier reasons. They had to do a little bit of a level change here, but because we have like a water source here, and then you've got a couch on the other side, I think it's kind of probably coincidentally good that you do have this slight level change right there. Again, though, one giant piece of solid surface, I think they just don't have a supplier that will necessarily do that. This is also another reason I love this style of floor plan, whether it's Jayco or Brinkley or Keystone or whoever, I don't care. When you're in the kitchen, you're still in it. You're still in it, you know? So many of these RVs, when you're in the kitchen, you're like, oh, hey, everybody's laughing. You're like, what happened? Like, you're left out of the whole experience. And you don't have that here. They brought the TV down a little bit in height from what it was before. It's still up a touch. Doesn't look terrible to me, though. My TV at home has more elevation than that. So I'm okay with it, but, you know, everyone's a little bit different. This thing gives you great window coverage on both sides of the RV. So sometimes people are like, yeah, but at my site, well, it doesn't really matter where you're going to be parked. This thing's going to have good views, awesome airflow. You're going to get some great cross breezes. And believe it or not, the air conditioner is running on absolute full tilt right now. And I'm going to be quiet for a second. And that's what it sounds like on screaming full tilt right here. Their little propaganda tag hanging down is getting sucked into that cold air return right there, because between those cold air returns in both the living room and the bedroom, that is where your air conditioner is located. So Jayco calls it whisper ducted, but my phrase for this is if you don't see the square, you won't hear the air. And I think we've demonstrated that pretty well today. And I'm not using any fancy noise canceling stuff. There's no magic editing tricks behind the scenes here. Come experience it in person. Put it to the test. I don't expect you to take my word for it. That's crazy. You know, some people are just predators like that. I will absolutely let you trust but verify on this. What was I going to talk about from here? The sofa. You saw how this actually is a big, like 3-seat opens into a giant trifold sleeper sofa. A lot of these L couches used in the industry today don't necessarily do that. Now, I do want to go through, kind of show you all the before I forget. If you want to add a third air to this, you can. You will need to sacrifice that rain sensing vent fan up there. There's another one of those back in the kitchen, by the way. So it's not like without this, you lose your kitchen ventilation. That won't be a problem here. Cracking open some storage for you. This big pocket up here, this is just what I call why not space. Now I'm lifting the camera way above my head to be able to get you up in there. It's a weird space. It's up high. I don't know, maybe you throw a hat or something in there, not sure. But at least they just didn't let it go to waste. Handy little fold down hooks right here. So if you want to turn this into a place just to hang a light jacket or something by the door, you can. Also, your fuse box right by the door is an extremely useful thing and a really good place for it. Something I haven't quite displayed yet is, depending on how you want to use it, like if you want to put like a keyboard in front of you and have like a multi-monitor solution here, you could do that. You also have just handy little odds and ends storage in there, as well as a little miniature office door. Now, we obviously don't have hanging file cabinets or anything, but there is space down here if you wanted to add something like that. It would not be hard to do whatsoever. And again, just in case somebody forgot, the carpet square here is not part of the slide. It's just a loose thing that's in place to help protect it. Working our way over here, good old big pantry built right into yonder slide out. This is not removable shelving or anything. I don't know that it needs to be. It's doing what it needs to do. If I remember right, last year there was just a little pocket of storage up here. This is one of my only little things that I noticed that I'm kind of going to nitpick. I think there's just a wasted dead air pocket back there. I don't like wasted space. I don't like a loss of potential storage, even if it is kind of an awkward thing. I like to be able to use it and access it in some way, shape, or form. So I don't know if that was just one of the more recent kind of adaptations this floor plan has gone through. Cracking open the rest of this here, it's actually going to take several waves to get through all of the kitchen storage. It has plenty. And just again, for reference, if you do add the third air and you sacrifice the one big vent fan we saw, you still maintain the one back here. I can't remember offhand if the bottom of the microwave is also a stove vent hood. That is pretty common. When we step outside the RV, I'll try to take a walk on the wild side back there and hopefully not twist my ankle on all those loose rocks and give you an idea. This is something new they started doing here, which I think is kind of smart. Put a little Lazy Susan in these awkwardly shaped corners of the kitchen here, which makes it a lot handier. Now, in a sense, you are technically losing out on some storage capacity, but it's far easier to reach. I've seen a lot of brands start doing this. Now, to be fair, Jayco has done this for years, where they include, they have a built-in silverware utensil organizer built right into this. I personally feel if this part right here were, the thing that I'm pushing on, if this were removable so I could take it outside for picnic time, that would be awesome. You see, these are soft close. They did the same thing down here, but did you also notice dovetail drawer construction? Now, North Point and Pinnacle had been doing that since last year. Jayco has adopted that into some of your Eagle models as well, which I personally think is kind of cool. Now, I got myself turned around a way I didn't mean to. But with the help of some movie magic, as far as you know, I just magically teleported over here. Pocket screwed lumber core cabinetry, pretty normal in the big fifth wheel market. When you move up to Pinnacle, you'll actually get all like hardwood. So the way that the family tree works at Jayco, there's a pretty obvious and direct logical handoff. You start at an Eagle fifth wheel, and then you move up into the North Point that we're looking at. You gain some things like the hydraulic slide, 6-point hydraulic leveling, the wide body, and plenty of other things. But then from here, when you move to Pinnacle, you have all the same body size and construction. What you're going to get are more fancy features, a higher trim package, like a bath and a half instead of a single bath or something like that. This cutting board section right here is removable, but if depending on how you line it up, you could use it like a cutting board and chop the tops off the carrots and just kind of slide them straight into there, which I think is actually kind of smart and super useful, and then you could just clean her off. And it seems like no matter what style of cutting board an RV builder uses, somebody likes to say it's the wrong one. If a builder uses wood, like Jayco's done here, my understanding is that it's easier on knives. You don't have to sharpen them as often, but it can hold more bacteria, whereas like a plastic cutting board tends to dull knives more quickly, but is easier to clean and doesn't have the tendency of holding bacteria. So I don't know which one's the right way or wrong way. If you don't like what they do, good news. Whatever you want's on Amazon nowadays, man. Little motion light right there. Obviously hasn't kicked on because I haven't walked past it yet, but very handy if you just walk in the door or if you're walking up or down stairs at night or something like that, so you can obviously see what you're doing and not get killed. Jayco, last year, the year before, invented their own heating system that is starting to get some traction out there in different areas. It looks like just cabinet ducted heating. As far as you know, I mean, in terms of function, that's exactly what it is. But how deep are these while I'm talking? Ooh, okay, not bad. What was I going to say? Oh, the heat plenum, the ducting through which the actual heated air runs is still in the floor, but the ducting is not really in the floor. Now, you saw how we have the what was I going to say? Oh my God, I told you I am struggling. I am so sorry. You saw in our flyby footage, awesome headroom in the shower. Even though it tapers down near the sidewall, I never had an issue. We still have that big vent fan here. So by default, this RV has 3 of these. You can get a, if you go with the third air conditioner, you will sacrifice one of those. I like how they enclosed the little linen cabinet. There was a little period there they hadn't been doing that. A lot of builders still don't, but for a while, there's about 1 year there where every RV builder was just like, hey, we can save on the cost of 1 bathroom door. And people were like, dude, just put it on there, you know. The porcelain foot flush stool here in this wide body beauty, pretty spacious. Last year, North Point's did include a seat. This year, you have a bigger shower than an Eagle. And then when you go to a Pinnacle, you'll start to have a standard seat. So there's a couple little differential odds and ends there. For total clarity, when we've gone into the bathroom, we've gone from solid surface to thermal foil. So people have asked about that. I don't have a good spot down here that I can see anything, but it's all PEX on PEX connections. North Point doesn't do flexi-pexi wombo combos. They have maintained their crazy extra deep bed slide, though, and that creates some really nice space in here. Also, now, to be totally clear, only the living room whisper ducted air is on right now. But you have the exact same thing here in the bedroom. That's why you don't directly see an air conditioner on that big barreled kind of vaulted roof thing there. Okay, queen or king bed slide, if I remember right. King standard, you actually swaption into a queen. They have these little kind of folding, I don't know, stands. You can fold them down if you think they're in the way, but if you want a spot to be able to set your phone but still fiddle with it at night or something like that, you could do that. There are some household outlets down there where they're hard to display. Great breeze windows on either side of the slide. Now, the Cyclops window above the bed does tilt open for airflow, so that can be useful even on a little bit of a rainy day. Let me, if I remember right, yep, this is pretty easy to lift. Now, it's not full mega storage down here, partially because it's super deep and the type of slide system. This is done intentionally, even though it's, in a sense, I just got done saying, I don't like wasted storage space. This is done for a reason, because if you went crazy heavy loading this, it would not, the slide out wouldn't like it. The slide system would not like it, and then you would not like that, essentially, is how it's going to go. Pretty traditional, just big front closet space up in here. Nothing too crazy to write home about that. By the way, these outlets, when you see a white sticker on them, that's telling you in a North Point or Pinnacle that they are prepped and ready for being powered by an inverter. So if you want to add one of those, or you get a more advanced equipment package on one of these, you can be able to run some of your household outlets off battery power. Keep in mind, though, when you do that, although it's useful in like the Walmart or good, you know, the Sam's Club parking lot or whatever, you will put extra, you'll very quickly deplete your battery reserve. You know, you can run big power household things off 12-volt battery power, but you suck them dry real fast. I like how they do the slide open top as compared to some brands do a thing where you put your fingers under it and you lift the top, because if you have stuff on here, I can leave the stuff on here, although you got to make sure you don't yank it real hard because you'll knock stuff down. And then again, still dovetail drawer construction going on here. I like all of the little indirect lighting down below, so that if you wake up late at night and, you know, you want to I don't know, just go to the bathroom or sneak all the way back there to get to that fridge to grab a little snacky snack or something like that. You have the opportunity to do it without turning on all the lights, but also not running into stuff and bashing into things going through the camper. Now, when we talk road mode, I do want you to be aware that you do need to do some stuff with this sofa. If you just try to push the buttons, these slides are, something's going to break. And no matter who wins the shoving match, you are going to lose. So the two chunks of that L-shaped kind of sofa right there actually slide under that desk and kind of strap in place. And that's actually what that little carpet square is for, just to help you protect the slide floor when you have to kind of do a little boot scoot boogie action in there. And the thing is, beyond that, you are not going to be able to access much of anything else. But the steps stick out further than the slide. So logically, if you can open the steps to get into the RV, it is likely, you know, situationally dependent, but likely you'd be able to open the slide to get in here, to get to your fridge, to your kitchen, to all that stuff. I'm not saying this counts as A+ road mode access. I don't think that at all. I think that this is a workaround that you might consider in a pinch. So if this is useful, let us know you like seeing road mode, and we will hop outdoors and talk about towing this big, heavy behemoth. Now, key thing here, the price tag got lighter, but this is still big and it's still heavy. We're over 14,000 pounds empty. You are very solidly up in 1-ton country here. You need a big truck to pull big rig like this for sure. Something this size, I don't think you would dislike having a dually on it. It's probably a good idea. I don't have the payload rating in front of me, the hitch load, so that might be a factor. But like a Pinnacle in the background, for the most part, those are pretty much just dually standard, and a North Point really ain't that far behind it. The look of this thing, I like when I look at the sidewalls, I can see a little bit of last year's DNA, but the whole front end, God bless, it looks like Tron modern to me. It just looks really, really sharp in my opinion. Where do I want to go? Sorry, let me back up a little bit. One of the differences between a North Point like we see here and an Eagle like we see over there is that this is full profile, and another difference is that it's also wide body. What does that mean? Basically, it's taller pretty much all the way across. It's built to get just under a highway overpass, and then the wide body pretty much speaks for itself, you know. I do like all the extra little fusion lighting insets that they have into the nose cap. That's looking really good. You've got your Rotoflex shock dampening pin box here, MORryde suspension package down at the ground level. We're looking at one today with generator prep. If you want to get a full generator, you can do that. If you want to get an observation camera suite, that's also not a hard thing to do. And look at the gloss on this fiberglass. Woo! That is good looking. So the ground level slides are rack and pinion. Your upper deck slide, that is a Schwintek system. Obviously, you've got the frameless windows around this one. Frameless windows look super smexy. They do provide less airflow as compared to a sliding window like this one right here. An RV like a North Point or a Pinnacle is built with the kind of idea and expectation that you are probably going to be primarily park using it with hookups and running the air conditioning in a place where you have moved away from the cold weather. So the airflow from the windows is a secondary concern, whereas, you know, the good looks is kind of probably more of what they're going for. Now, a couple cool things. This is actually a forced air heated cavity, and you will see the double-sided radiant barrier layer kind of stuff across the upper end of that, just creating basically a thermal break between the basement, outdoors, and your feet when you walk around. Just like an Eagle, you've got dual 30-pound propane tanks, but that is sized so that if you want to go 40-pound tanks, you could do that. So that's one of the extra things that you'll find kind of potentially available within this family right here. The, oh gosh, my brain fell off the tracks. What was I going to say there? Oh, dual power awnings. And because we have an extended mega slide here, you actually have an extended additional second slide. A lot of the second slides on your slide faces are fairly short. Bigger entry handle here, and the bigger kind of paddle to grab your door lock are things that I like. That little extended, what's it called, latch extend or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, it's a Lippert thing. But it means you don't have to go all the way up the stairs, pull the door open, go backwards down the stairs, try not to fall, then go in the RV. And whenever you're looking at a Jayco, if you have a quad step like this, it is a the full-on like gas strutted easy system. Now, if we get up in this area right here, a couple things to talk about. First of all, this is a 6-point hydraulic auto leveling system. That's your jacks amidships there. But when we get back here, a couple things. You might notice how the rear jacks on an auto leveling system, they're always close to the tires. You ever notice that? Couple reasons. You see how far they stick down. If they were all the way to the back of the RV, you'd rip them off. Secondly, by pinning them right up next to the tires, you isolate more of the wiggle and jiggle of the tires, so the RV will stay more stable when you get to a destination. Jumping around to the back side here. The little door there on the slide face, that's actually the service access panel for the residential fridge. That's where you shut off your ice maker valve, and you do, here's a little pro tip from Uncle Josh. If an RV has an ice maker, ideally you actually typically need it turned off when you get to your, or when you are towing. Now, whoa, God bless America, I'm on some loose stones. This was a stupid idea. I'm gonna end up slipping and falling and breaking all of the things. I don't even know. Anyway, working my way around. What did I want to talk about back here? Oh, you do have a gray tank outlet back here for the kitchen. Because you have a kitchen back here and your bathroom and laundry and stuff all the way up front. They're not able to just fully cross plumb everything. So you're going to want to kind of consider that, you know, as you're making your decisions. That's a thing you got to factor into your decision-making process there. When you start stepping up into a Pinnacle, instead of just a 50 amp inlet, you'll actually have like one of those 12 volt activated power extension retraction 50 amp cable kind of jobs here that, you know, you won't tend to see on a Northpoint. There's very clear separations and differentiations between the two of them. That's one of the reasons you're going to see some very clear budget differential factors. Quick note here, when, you know, again, a differentiating factor, when you move up to Pinnacle, you'll have a full rear cap instead of just the rear wall. The Pinnacles also have the option of a full body paint package that Northpoint does not. For clarity, Northpoint did for a while, but they do not at this time. So the way the family of Jaycos rolls out now, if you want all of the widgets and whiz-bangs, that's a Pinnacle. If you own the company, you're probably looking at a Pinnacle. If you're a manager of a company, you're probably looking at the Northpoint. If you're not a manager, but maybe a line supervisor or something, that maybe is where an Eagle is. Now, these are, I'm not saying that's actually the type of people that should purchase these. I'm helping you just kind of, once again, quick understand the different levels and echelons between them. As I always do, I'll drop you a link in the description to double check pricing and availability. And short of that, let me know what you think about the updates here. I'd love to hear from you, good, bad, or ugly. I don't delete comments unless somebody goes way off the handle using all kinds of language that just ain't appropriate for public consumption on YouTube, because there's kids that watch this channel too. I've found, man, a lot of kids. It's crazy how many times I'll bump into people at like an RV show and they're like, my kid watches you all the time. I'm like, you need to keep a better eye on what your kid watches. I say stuff, dude. Anyway, take care, stay safe, have fun. Happy camping, everyone.